All right, what's that recap for Monday night?
Okay, so Monday night, I actually switched my pick last minute. I originally had the Lions covering 6.5. I switched mine to Baltimore, and it was simply just because I started reading up on Lamar Jackson against NFC. I think is 24-2, which is that's a very large sample size to not just chalk it up as all right. That's just he's getting lucky against NFC teams or whatever. Like
Yeah.
that's he shreds them.
Mm-hmm.
The last time the Lions played the Ravens was in Baltimore 2 years ago when the Lions were 12-5 that year, and Baltimore killed them. I think it was 38-6.
Okay.
Um, and the team's not much different now, 2 years later, and they still have the same core. Um, so looking into all of that, I really thought, okay, I'm going to take the Ravens here at home, and I was definitely wrong on that.
Yeah, yeah. So I was wrong as well. I picked the Ravens. I thought the Ravens were going to not necessarily win by double digits, but I thought they were going to cover the spread. And the last time they did play, it was 38-6, like you said. And then the last time they played before that was in 2021, which I don't care about 2021. 2023 was under Dan Campbell, and so that's a legit score to look at between the two. And the makeup of the Ravens team is not that different, really, from 2 years ago. I mean, they still have Lively. They still have Mark Andrews. They did not have Derrick Henry. They did a running
Right.
back by committee, but they still had the same quality type receivers, except maybe not Zay Flowers at the time. And but you would expect a similar outcome though, because it's the same philosophy, same team, and it was at Baltimore as well. The last time they played in 2023. The game last night disappointed me in the sense that Lamar Jackson did not play like Lamar Jackson. And he did not run all over them. And whether that was accredited to the Lions defense, which they played phenomenal against
Hmm.
Lamar, but his biggest success was actually the deep ball. He was able to get the deep ball down to some of his receivers, and it was not the running game, but the passing game that bailed him out a lot. And
Right.
and towards the end of the game, the magic kind of just wore off for Baltimore. They couldn't keep up. I mean, the first half was 14-14. And so, going into the second half is very even game. But credit the Lions because they had the offensive answer against the Ravens defense. And I think that was going to be the biggest question mark is if that offense with Ben Johnson gone, what was that identity going to look like? And they have the same exact identity that they had last year. Game one for the
Hmm.
Lions was very, very misunderstood. That was a false positive for the first game of the season, how they got routed by the Packers. That to me, looking at
Hmm.
game two and game three, game one never should have happened for whatever reason it did. Jared Goff made really good decisions. That fourth down in the fourth quarter, that was a gamble, but that's a Dan Campbell play though. And I really do think that they would have won even if that didn't convert because the Lions defense that just had all the momentum. Gibbs had 2 touchdowns, Montgomery
Right.
had 2 touchdowns, and then Amon had a touchdown. So I mean,
Well, that's the thing that shocked me really about this game was the fact that which we know Montgomery and Gibbs, they're electric, they're dynamite. Probably, I don't even know if it's close as far as being the best backfield true 1-2 punch in the league. Um, Obviously, you have guys out there like Saquon and stuff like that, but as far as being a 1-2 punch, I don't think there's anyone better than these two.
right.
But the fact that the Ravens gave up that many yards on the run game, I think you're over 200, close to 220 yards they gave up rushing,
Mm-hmm.
and that was the shock to me. I think when they're coming off that win against Cleveland, right? Which, you know, I don't put much stock into that win, but you look when they played the Bills, I think they only gave up 40 yards to Cook.
Mm-hmm.
I think Josh Allen rushed for 30. So I think they held the Bills to about 100 yards rushing total as a team.
Yeah.
So to come in here and at home to give up 200 plus rushing yards is just that's what shocked me. And the fact that Derrick Henry, this is back-to-back games
He's fumbled in all
now
three.
where he's fumbled in three in a row, and then back-to-back games where he's kind of disappeared. He had 50 yards rushing against the Lions,
Yeah.
and so that was the big takeaway for me. I think Lamar Jackson was sacked 7 times.
Yeah.
Shocking to me.
Yeah, and you really knock Derrick Henry out if the Ravens have to come from behind. If they get down, because Hill is their passing back. He catches the ball. He's a speeder. Like he's faster than Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry is just so tough. I think the crucial part of the game was probably when they ran Henry 3 times in a row and then went for it on 4th down to get that touchdown instead of going for the points. And in all reality, the expectation is Derrick Henry does punch that in. But even more crucial than that play was the second time this season a crucial run by Derrick Henry was fumbled late in the game. And it happened in game 1 against the Bills, and then it happened here in the Lions. It's not necessarily sealed their fate because I think the Lions were going to win regardless. But yeah, I mean, the identity of the Lions is there. Ben Johnson was great. Aaron Glenn was great on defense and offense for them, but they're not missing those two guys. That's for sure.
Yeah, I agree.
So
I think that fumble by Henry was in the 20-yard line, 30-yard line of their own end of the field. So yeah, tough loss. Both of us on that spread did not see that coming. That was a bit of a shock.
Yeah. I did see the over. The over for sure.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. The over for sure. The over was like 53. Mm-hmm.
Which maybe in hindsight, if we both liked the over there, maybe we could have predicted, hey, if we both like the over, we're thinking this is going to be a shootout. Maybe it is going to be a closer game. Maybe it is going to be a 31-28 type game, something like that.
Yeah.
I don't see the over hitting if Baltimore's blowing them out.
Yeah.
I don't.
I agree. I agree with that. Moving into week 4, we have a Thursday game, September 25th, and it's Seattle versus Arizona. Arizona is 2-1. Seattle is also 2-1, and it's in Arizona. The line is at it's between 1 and 1.5. Seattle is favored. What are your thoughts on that?
Okay, so Arizona's at home, right?
Right.
Yeah. I think I would lean Arizona here at home. They lost a close game to the 49ers, I believe, just this past week. But man, that's tough. These NFC West games, I feel like NFC West is already a tough division.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard. It's hard for me to these are already tough games to predict.
Yeah.
But I think I would lean into the home team here. And that's something we should probably look into, because I don't know realistically stat wise, like what is home field advantage worth to Vegas in the NFL?
3 points.
Is it 1 point? It's 3 points.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And they're saying Seattle's favored by 1.5.
Yeah. Between 1 and 1.5.
Yeah. The only thing that worries me about taking Arizona here is the loss of James Conner. You lose a starting running back. I think he's a top 10 running back in the league. That's got to be a massive, not only just a talent blow, but a moral blow to lose your starting running back to a season-ending injury like that. I think who's the backup there? Is it Benson?
Benson.
Yeah. Which I don't know what we have in him. Or I haven't honestly watched a lot of the Cardinals games. I don't know how much playing time he's got, how many carries he averages a game. But I still would probably lean slightly Arizona at home. I think these teams are pretty evenly matched. Um, so I think just being at home, I would lean Arizona, although the running game does give me pause on that.
Yeah, so I'm kind of in line with you on what you were saying about Arizona. However, I'm leaning more towards Seattle in this one. And the reason why I'm
Mm,
leaning more towards Seattle is I think Seattle is the more complete team. Arizona kind of fades in and fades out, which it does worry me about picking Seattle because if this is a game that Arizona decides to show up for and Kyler Murray plays Kyler Murray type ball and Arizona's defense shows up, then Seattle could have their work cut out for them. And Sam Darnold, he's either good or he's not. He's either going to throw 0 picks or he's going to throw like 3 or 4.
hmm
Against a defense that can actually create picks, which they're one of the top defenses, not all around, but as far as turnovers are concerned, they do. They create turnovers. And I think the loss of James Conner is big, but I do think Benson can fill those shoes. I'm not saying top 10 running back, but enough for a game plan to be successful. I just think that it's the
hmm
wrong game for that running game to be successful. I think the offense of Seattle can overwhelm Arizona to the point that they cover the spread there at 1.5. I think that they'll probably win by 3 or 3+, but I'm leaning more towards Seattle in this one. I think that Murray could have a good game, like I said before, but
hmm
I would not be looking at the running game in this matchup. It's going to be about both the quarterbacks, and that's who's going to win the game.
Yeah, and I can agree with you on that for sure. I do think these are both very average teams to me. Um, they have a common opponent in the Saints. Cardinals beat the Saints by 7. We all know what Seattle just did to the Saints, so that's a bit of um, you could probably go with, well, Seattle, beat the brakes off of New Orleans, and Arizona only won by 7, but that was a week 1 win at New Orleans. Um, I don't take a lot of stock in them in Seattle drumming the Saints like that. I think they had a special teams touchdown with what is what's the receiver that Thornton, is it Thornton,
Yep, it's Thornton.
the rookie receiver? Yeah,
Oh,
that when he
Horton.
returned the
Horton.
kickoff,
Sorry, Horton.
Horton. So he had a touchdown on special teams. I think they blocked a punt that game. So the other reason why I kind of want to lean with Arizona is because again, they're two average teams in my opinion. On a short week, they're at home. They don't have to travel. Um, and again, if we're gonna say I think quarterback play probably wins it here, I'm still gonna slightly lean to Kyler Murray outplaying Sam Darnold.
Yeah.
Um, but again, it's really a toss up, and I would be real hesitant to even bet this game because I'm not super confident in either
Yeah,
side.
I'm with you on that one too. And Kyler Murray is like one of those. There's a few out there, and it's not necessarily quarterbacks. It could be teams. It could be other different types of players. That it just seems like every time you put the cards in for them, they fold.
hmm
And it's like, and Kyler Murray could do that. Kyler Murray's like that for me. When I need him most, he's not there. So, and I'm leaning more towards Seattle. You got Arizona. So that will be a good matchup to watch just for in that sake. But I'm definitely not turning on the TV on Thursday just wanting to watch that game. It's unfortunate it's the only game that's going to be on Thursday though. So we're gonna be forced to watch it.
Right.
We have an early one on Sunday. Looks like this is going to be on foreign soil, but it's Minnesota and Pittsburgh, and Pittsburgh is considered the home one here. But they are an underdog, 2.5 point underdog, and both teams are 2-1. And so on here, my initial lean is Pittsburgh. But that's also because of my bias against JJ McCarthy on this squad. But Minnesota's defense is actually pretty good. And is Carson Wentz? Is he still playing? Is he going to be playing in this matchup? Because Carson Wentz, he did exactly what he was supposed to last week, but I think their defense was really the player of the game on this last week.
Yeah, and I think Carson Wentz is slotted to start again. If I'm reading Sleeper, they're saying that he made the first of what project to be multiple starts in place of JJ McCarthy.
Mm.
So I honestly think Wentz is a better QB than JJ. What we saw from JJ these first 2 weeks, I wasn't impressed with. I think that they I think that they should have lost to Chicago. I don't think he played well enough to win. I know he had the good fourth quarter, but there were still some throws in there that I think he got a little lucky on. When you're throwing to Justin Jefferson, he's going to make you look good, no matter what goes on. So I felt like they kind of got lucky in that win, and then he just looked like, you know, he looked bad against the Falcons.
Yes.
There's really no other way to say that.
Yeah. But fading JJ in this game doesn't make any sense with what I said earlier, because if Carson Wentz, which it looks like you said, is starting, Carson Wentz is better for the offense than JJ is. And also, Addison is returning. So his 3-game suspension, and he could be rusty, right? We have no idea what chemistry is there or anything like that. But last year, he was a crucial piece to this offense. So that does have an impact, and that could, with it being overseas, the thing that's going on in my head, the alarms going on in my head right now is Pittsburgh's defense.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really care about Pittsburgh's offense in this game. I care about Pittsburgh's defense, and if they're going to be able to stifle Carson Wentz. I don't care about Minnesota's run game in this specific game. I care about Pittsburgh's defense versus Carson Wentz throwing the ball. And that's what intrigues me about Pittsburgh getting 2.5 here. I could see myself flipping, though, on this one.
Yeah, I'm kind of shocked, too. I look at Aaron Rodgers, and I just think that, look, he had that really, I guess, kind of magical game one. He wanted to take it to the Jets, but that's not who he is anymore. He's not going to carve you up, throw for 300 plus and 4 touchdowns. I was a little shocked, though, that he struggled so much against New England's defense, who gave up 362 yards passing to Geno Smith. And then the Dolphins hung 33 on them, and again, Tua threw for over 300 yards against them. So I was a little shocked that Rodgers struggled that much against New England's secondary. Again, I would also. You said you're leaning Vikings here?
Pittsburgh.
Or you're leaning Pittsburgh. You're leaning Pittsburgh. Mm-hmm. I'm going to lean Minnesota here. I like Carson Wentz. I think they've got a little momentum here. I'm not completely sold that the team was in love with JJ being the starter.
Yeah, I would
I
agree
think
with
that
that.
offense really struggled, and they seem to be firing on all cylinders last week. I would I would roll with them. I think this is going to be the best defense that Pittsburgh has faced yet. Uh, and again, with Addison coming back, they've got Carson's going to have enough weapons. I think they hang. I think they pull away from Pittsburgh in this one.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Another pick where we're kind of differing with each other, and mine could flip though, because that's how close. I know it's a 2.5 point spread, but I think it's actually closer than that. But I do think whoever does win would probably win by more than they could win by more than three. But I think from like just trying to make this pick, I could flip back and forth on this one. Um,
Yeah.
our next game we have is Washington versus Atlanta. This one,
So
oh, go ahead.
since I've got to run here in about 5 minutes, can we both just skip ahead to the Sunday night game and
Yeah.
talk a little bit about the Cowboys versus the Packers?
Okay.
What are your thoughts on this? I think Sleeper has it at 7.5
Yeah, it's seven.
for Green
Seven.
Bay.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
yeah, it's in Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
You've got all the storylines here. You know, uh, Parsons is coming home, facing his old team. The drama around that trade, whether you think Cowboys won it or lost it, I think it was a loss for the Cowboys. Even though I don't really love paying, I don't love the idea of paying Parsons $200 million. I do think they could have got more elsewhere. Um, Cowboys get drummed by the Bears. What do you think about this game? I think the lines. I know it's an NFL game. I still think the line's a little low at 7. We did see Green Bay struggle against Cleveland, but that Cleveland defense is at the top of the league.
Yeah, I think if you have the if you have the ability to do like a reverse teaser on this one, to where you can take -7 to say -14, -17, I would be taking Green Bay all day. I think the percentage right now is 33% is choosing Dallas, even at +7. The only way Dallas has a chance in this game is if during that trade for Micah, Jerry had a handshake agreement with Green Bay that said, when we play you, you're not going to demolish
Yeah,
us.
yeah. Take
That's
it easy on us.
yes. That I personally, that's the only way, because you're without CD Lamb, right? All you have is Turpin and Pickens, and you have a run game. But for whatever reason, your defense did not show up against Chicago, where your defensive coordinator coached Chicago. And I remember making it a point last week with you that there's no way they allow Caleb Williams to look like a Hall of Famer with his previous coach as our defensive coordinator. You should know the intimate details that makes Caleb Williams tick. And we were not able to exploit anything on that Bears offense. And that to me was a fireable offense, in my opinion. I do not like how Dallas showed against the Bears. It was a complete embarrassment. They should not have lost by as much as they lost. They shouldn't have lost in general, even with CD Lamb out. And this Green Bay Packers team that's going to come in, I mean, I don't know if Dallas is going to score much on them, because Green Bay hasn't allowed very many people to score. The only reason why they beat the Browns was because, just like a lot of other teams last week, which was a weird week, it had to do with the block and a field goal. So
Right.
Green Bay's defense is going to stifle Dallas's offense. If they can't pass, they're going to try to run, and Green Bay is going to be able to stop the run. And then Green Bay is going to turn around and pick your poison on that. I think Green Bay is going to try whatever they want, however they want, and they're going to succeed. So rack it up the points.
Yeah, I'm with you too, because I think last week was a fluke loss for Green Bay. I think the spread was 9 or 9.5 against Cleveland. I would have hammered Green Bay on that. I was a little shocked. They were up 10 in the fourth, like you said, fluke plays. They go down, they get that field goal. Love throws a pick, and they hadn't punched it in. Cleveland hasn't thrown or hasn't scored a touchdown all game. They get one at the very end. Um, you get the block. Didn't they block a field goal?
I think it was the last. It was either a punt or a field goal that got blocked towards the end, and then Cleveland turned around and did a last second field goal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I think that's a little bit of a fluke loss, and I think Green Bay is going to come out and say, "Hey, look, we kind of took one on the chin. We lost to probably one of the, if not the worst offensive team in the league, and blew a 10-point lead late in the fourth. I think they're going to come out motivated. I think they already have the motivations with Parsons on the other end. Um, I do not like this game for Dallas. I think this is going to be uh, very ugly. And if Dallas's D against Caleb Williams would have shown me anything, maybe it changes my mind just because of the Packers do have Reed on IR. But even that now, it doesn't matter. You see Diggs getting burned all the time. We don't know what Deron Bland, if he's coming back or not. Their secondary is the worst in the league. They gave up 450 yards to Russell Wilson, made him look like he was prime Russ back in Seattle.
Who just got
And then
benched.
you turn around, right? Then you turn around and Caleb Williams has his best game of his career, 300 yards, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. I might be wrong, but I don't think Dallas sacked him.
Dallas is just making Hall of Famers right now.
Right, exactly. They have the worst defense in the league, and Green Bay already owns Dallas. They already own them. And I don't think they needed any more motivation, but to blow that 10-point lead, I think they come in and I think they put it on Dallas pretty hard. I will hammer Green Bay on this one at 7.
Yeah, I would too, and I'd probably take the over as well because I just think that points are going to start piling up, whether it's lopsided. I think it's more advantageous to take the over too because if Cowboys did somehow put up a fight, it's not going to be on the defensive front. It would be on the offensive front, which would drive the points up even more. I think Green Bay could cover the over, which I think is around 47 right now. You could buy it down to 44, but I think Green Bay by itself could probably cover the 44 against Dallas. That's how bad I think Dallas is right now.
It's funny you say that too because I was going to ask you what is the over under because I didn't know it. But if it is at 47 or if you can get it down to 44, I think Green Bay by itself 38, maybe more.
Yeah.
And I think on their that by themselves, I would take the over here too. I do think CeeDee Lamb suits up for this game. I'm not 100% sure, but I think I read that he's saying he's going to play, but I don't know. I'd like to dig into that a little bit more. I think when you lose a player of his caliber, you saw it, what happened there in Chicago. I mean, they couldn't do anything offensively.
No.
George Pickens is still dropping balls. So outside of Jake Ferguson running 7-yard ends and having 12, 13 catches on 15 targets, they just don't have anyone to stretch the field. And Dak doesn't have time to stretch the field.
No.
Parsons and that defense is going to have 3 seconds, 4 seconds to try to stretch this defense. It's a lot of Jake Ferguson. If you have Jake Ferguson on your fantasy team, it's going to be nice. I take the over on his prop catches too.
Yeah. Yep. I would do. We're in agreement on this one on all fronts, and I really like the motivational piece on that one because I do think Green Bay is going to be motivated to continue to putting the foot on the neck against the Dallas Cowboys. That is Sunday night, 8:20. We got 2 Monday night football games, but that's going to do it for the slate for us right now. And good luck. Our picks so far is Robert's got Arizona, Minnesota, and Green Bay, and I have Seattle, Pittsburgh, and Green Bay. Although my Pitt pick could flip. But yeah, that's a wrap for that.